Hi all, a very good afternoon. Myself Ekta. We shall start in next 2 minutes, just waiting for a few more audience and speakers to join in. Thank you so much, everyone. Hello all, a very good afternoon. Before I start, if someone can let me know if I'm audible.
Yes, you are, Ekta.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So hello all, a very good afternoon. Myself, Ekta Dubey, and on behalf of the Brinalytics team and our partner, eCubix, we welcome you all on a roundtable which talks about profit from process efficiencies through Industry 4.0 pharmaceutical industry. So before we start this interesting roundtable, there are a few guidelines that I would like to highlight and make you people aware of. Requesting all the attendees to be on mute when the speakers are taking the sessions. We will be encouraging the Q&A after we open the discussion of the roundtable and all the speakers share their insights. There are a few guidelines I would request our audience to please adhere to. You need to raise your hands, unmute yourself during the Q&A. You can on your video, introduce yourself and put your question to the concerned speaker. So before I start, I'm happy to introduce our partner, eCubix. eCubix, owned by Value Chain Solution India Private Limited, provides smart solutions for business transformation in the area of manufacturing, supply chain, sales and infrastructure services. The solutions offer digital enterprise, industrial IoT, data science and analytics to clients worldwide. Process efficiency and real-time actionable insights to optimize and transform your businesses is one of the ways you can connect with eCubix. So thank you once again, everyone. And before I start, now I would like to invite Mr. Ankit Thakkar, VP Strategic Sales with Value Chain Solution India Private Limited. Hi, Rankit.
Yeah, Ekta, hi. Thank you so very much for this round of introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so very much for your time to be participating into this roundtable that is being conducted. I'll be taking up a brief 2 minutes of time to introduce eCubix, just to continue with what Ekta mentioned. We are a typical business consulting company based out of Ahmedabad, wherein we go about providing smart industry 4.0 solutions, which starts right from real-time manufacturing intelligence to go about optimizing sales, supply chain efficiency, and channel effectiveness, along with analytics as to what Ekta mentioned in terms of the entire digital transformation journey that we carry on for our customers. We have a portfolio of about 180 plus happy customers spread across 15 plus countries. We have delivered more than 500 plus projects, and we have the capability of integrating up solutions across various platforms, which is starting with SAP or ABB or Honeywell, Emerson, Hadoop. Call us any technology that needs to be integrated in terms of the Industry 4.0 solution, and we have readily available solutions with us. We are partners with leading technology providers, right from Microsoft to Seek to OSI soft, which is typically used as a product that we provide in terms of a solution that we provide for smart factory. Now, just to give you a brief about the offerings that we have, we try and cater to 4 different verticals, which starts, we call it a smart factory, smart supply chain, smart channels, and smart sales. In smart factory, we go about helping customers in terms of capturing a real-time data infrastructure, which mainly talks about sensor-based data collection, which becomes a single source of truth for across the line of management in terms of making up their decisions in order to see the reports and everything. In terms of processing data analytics, we try and have patterns that we go about defining, which talks about predictive maintenance. We talk about creating a golden batch profiling and trying to predict equipment failures using analysis which gets generated out of this particular technology. From a smart supply chain point of view, we talk about the turnaround time improvement through a gate-in, gate-out process. We try and track shipments through various integrated platforms which are having GPS integrated into it. We talk about optimizing transport management in terms of allocating vehicles across in terms of spot bidding along with transporting and bill payments. In smart channels, we talk about track and trace. We talk about loyalty programs based on the sales and liquidation data. We also go about providing solutions around anti-counterfeit. And in smart sales, we talk about field force reporting. We talk about e-learning. We talk about providing a digital visual aid. We talk about billing solutions that we provide. So this is the plethora of solutions that we have in Industry 4.0 offerings that we have at eCubix. I'll be more than happy to go about addressing up any questions that will be there when we have a Q&A session going on. May I request Ekta to go about running a corporate video, please?
Sure, Ankit.
We are eCubix, the growth catalyst in your digital transformation journey, tuned to the pulse of the digital future. We drive innovation with the digital technology ecosystem. From a humble beginning in 2006, we have transformed eCubix as one of the top Industry 4.0 solution providers. We are now serving clients in 15 plus countries. We are a CMMI Level 3 certified company, serving 100,000 plus users with a strong team of 200 plus technocrats. So far, industry has achieved more than $350 million saving from eCubix products and services, and the same is still counting. Our presence is in industries like cement, agrochemical, pharmaceutical, pulp and paper, minerals and metals, ports, oil and gas, power. eCubix is organized in 4 strategic business units, each focusing on different area of an enterprise. Smart Factory to improve production process and asset performance. Smart Supply Chain for better fleet management. Smart Channel for brand protection through genealogy and serialization. And Smart Sales for field activity management. eCubix brings global best products to solve industry problems through strategic business partnerships with world leaders like OSI Soft, now Aviva, Seek, Waterfall, Sato, Microsoft. eCubix is your growth catalyst for digital age technologies.
Yes. So that was a video, corporate video of eCubix. Rakit, anything to share, or can I invite Anu?
Yes, please. You can continue inviting Anup, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So now I would like to invite Mr. Anup Garg, who handles SmartCom at Value Chain Solution India Private Limited, to share some insights related to the subject. Over to you, Anup. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And I welcome again all of you to this conference. We'd like to make it as interactive as possible. So I'm sharing the screen. Is that visible?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, just a minute. Okay. Yeah. So what we'll be doing is we will first talk about the issues pertaining to pharmaceutical industries. These are as pointed out to us by our clients. See, we are not experts in this. We have done some work for many industries and a few in pharmaceutical, a few. In fact, in pharmaceutical, we have given around services to around 200 plus organizations, but in a different area, not necessarily in all in one area, and many other manufacturing companies. Now, next, we would like to, so these issues pertaining to pharmaceutical industries, we are only pointing out to those which our clients have told us, right? Next, we would like to show how eCubix provides solutions to these issues and how we are able to not only give a platform which is well known to the world, but very innovatively handle the data which is coming out from the platform. And in the end, we would brief you with some use cases to show practically what we have been doing. Yeah. So, so when we say that when this statement is brought in front of everyone in pharma, balancing ROI and risk while implementing systems for proactive and efficient operations, actually, we will not be far away from the that one line which blocks all of us in pharma industry to be working for. So why do we talk about balancing? What are these disbalancing factors which may be more typical to pharma than any other industry? So during this last decade, including the recent pandemic, has made the world look towards Indian pharma industry as a lifesaver. Though this spells into a great business prospect, but it also is a double-edged sword, because to fully grab the opportunity, our pharma industry needs a new way of working in responding to the prevalent challenges in the industry. And what are these challenges which we are talking about? So first one is regulatory compliance. This is indeed one of the key business continuity factors in the industry. eCubics can and have implemented systems which have made our customers reduce their effort and risk in this area. We have ready-made solutions for this, like eBMR and eChecklist, and have been, we have already applied to a few companies which are handling it really well. Coming to diverse data source visibility and normalization. So what is this diverse data source visibility? So all industries today adopt. Now, I'm not talking here only for pharma, but all industries adopt a best breed mentality when implementing different pieces of hardware and software to the areas which are most suited for those hardware and software. Now, when we are trying to connect them into a single platform, it becomes very difficult, right? How here we can proudly say that eCubics have been able to integrate the toughest of systems together into a single stream of truth. Thanks to our 450 plus interfaces, I would very clearly say they are the highest number of interfaces that are possible with any other company, right? Our system has 450 plus interfaces, including the self-configuring MES, manufacturing execution system, and batch execution system interfaces, which reduce the risk, effort, and cost significantly. Coming to the third issue, which we have thought is, which we put forward is batch reporting. Our systems can reduce the time and manual collection of data to ensure better utilization of QA staff. So what we normally observe is in a company like Zydus, for example, for whom we are now doing a project, a lot of QA staff is moving around collecting data and all that. So our systems is able to ensure not only a better utilization of QA staff, because then manually data collection is stopped completely. Most of the data comes to you automatically and electronically. Batch clearance and root cause analysis becomes most efficient due to event frames, which is a USP of our product. Coming to the next thing is QBD, quality by design, and multivariate analysis. Our platform provides the real-time data necessary to implement the complex multivariate analytics, helping to achieve the level of control, confidence, and accuracy required for implementing QBD in any environment, especially in pharmaceutical. Now, when we talk about tech transfer, so what has happened is recently after COVID again, a lot of companies have come to us, pharma companies, to implement these systems in their R&D area, right? So R&D, and when you're carrying the data from R&D to the full scale, there was always, it was not a seamless activity. So we have been able to now provide consistent data infrastructure in the process development area, that is glass labs, and taking it to large scale manufacture, seamlessly knowledge sharing and process improvement changes in process startup and reformulation times, which are needed in this process, are made possible using a solution. Coming to data exchange, from a national company, most of our pharma companies are now becoming multinational. So we have most of the companies have now their turnovers 60 to 70% coming from export only, right? So in such scenario, the increase of reach is what makes data exchange more and more critical across organizations, be at internal level or at external level. So you will have multiple units, some unit is available in Africa, some are working in Europe, for example, right? So you will need to have a lot of data exchange activities going on, and this has to be very carefully done, where nobody can, get into this data and you misuse it. So the connected services we offer becomes the mechanism to support this with future scalability, right? As we are growing fast, we need to have solutions which are scalable, right? They can be optimum for today, but any system which is not scalable is not optimal for today. And last but not the least would be track and trace. And this is a regulation where FDA and EMA are now coming, coming stringently on. And basically, it is to check the integrity of the drug supply chain out to the patient. Its main intent is to reduce counterfeit drugs. However, what is happening nowadays in pharma industry, immediate regulatory mandates implementing a standalone labeling and tracking system, which is not integrated to the rest of the supply chain, actually is being implemented. But let me tell you, it serves hardly any purpose, right? The benefit if it flows when we are able to track this whole finished product from the factory to the tertiary user, the end user, right? We have specific product which fulfills, provides this full end-to-end traceability. A lot of companies in the APAC region have been using this product. Now, another thing which is now going to hit all the pharma companies is the SDGs. As we all know, I'll just very briefly take you through this. 2015, all the people who were in United Nations, UN signatories, they signed a document which had around 17 goals, 169 targets, 6,536 actions which were to be taken. And all these countries said that they will be able to do it by the year 2030, which is just around 7.5 years away from now. Very few countries have actually been able to do it. So UN says 26 nations are well on their way to achieve these goals, and India is one of them. So very soon, India is going to come very strongly to everyone in our industry, especially the pharma industry as well, to be that comply with all these 17 goals. What we have done here is we have categorized them into 5 areas, 5 categories as per the subjects to which these goals are directed. One can go through it. It's a long subject, but yeah, this is another regulation which is now coming in force, and you will find it increasingly creating a disturbance in your product, in your day-to-day life. So where does pharma company, where does Industry 4 provides value to pharma manufacturer, and especially eCubics with their experience, right? So in the area of compliance, we have written out here on the slide all the names of the systems which we can put forward in your organization in these areas. But in compliance, we make current CGMP and US FDA or MHRA. This relatively effortless through our eSOP solution. BASF Taiwan, for example, has started implementing it in their units, and one by one they are putting it in all the units. The BASF, for example, has somewhere around 200 250 plus units, and in due course of time they'll implement this in all their units, right? The pre-validated data and more than 80% auto collection allows more streamlined validation of point solutions. That is another benefit that we provide to under the compliance area. And we enable our clients to progress beyond the testing quality in a finished product to demonstrating that controlling critical process parameters can reduce quality variations and can create a lot of cost savings, right? So these are the areas which we take care in compliance. In technology transfer, single stream of truths created helps transparency between all departments, making them function at organizational level and not at the departmental level. Coming to operational excellence, integration achieved between diverse automation landscapes allow developing capability to view the batch process manufacturing process in real time and making real-time decisions. So you don't need to do the post-mortem thing. Rather than that, you can the operator is able to provide operational excellence right there while the process is on. And last but not the least, in the reporting area, continuous data availability enables practice of exception-based reporting. So you don't report all and everything, which takes a long time to even analyze. we provide you a practice of exception-based reporting. Also, detailed data can be provided where major deviations might have occurred. This data is also critical to regulatory requirement to report annually on the product manufacturing, including deviations, batch information, and release. And we are able to provide you with the ready-made thing. This. The same data now put on a departmental wise. I would not like to move forward with this slide. I mean, talk much about it because it will take time. But we'll be sharing with you. You can go ahead and see how an operator gets benefited, how a process manager gets profited, quality assurance team gets benefited, maintenance team gets benefited, process engineer ends up getting benefits, and last but not the least, the management also, they are able to review KPIs on a day-to-day basis rather than quarterly and annual way. I would just very briefly explain this ESOP product because there are quite a few of them available in the market, and you'll be able to judge how our product can be much better as compared to the ones in the market. So, so it is basically amalgamation of two products, eBMR and eChecklist. So through eBMR, we produce and automate batch manufacturing records, increasing the visibility through production, efficient workflow management, and storing and managing data electronically. Easily, you can call it whenever you require it. In eChecklist, standardization and automation of repetitive form filling process happens. And even the historical data can be put there. So storing and managing data electronically, again, easily one can recall this data. And the key features are basically in 8 areas. Again, if I explain each of this, it would take time. I would move forward. This is a very, very good product, which has done wonderfully well in the ASAP region of the world. So in Indonesia, Malaysia, people are buying this. We have been able to implement this in quite a few companies. We are trying to do that in India as well. Now, when we come to customer results, I would just like to say one thing, that eCubix has a very innovative way of implementing this product, which is a very well-known product, the PI, OSI PI system. And for becoming data-driven in traditional areas of material release and batch release, as well as in creating and unlocking efficiencies held up in processes, which is more modern usage of this, this product. So the companies which use our product and our integration process, data integration platform, is API manufacturing companies, companies dealing with small molecule chemical, biologics, which handle the large molecules, formulation area, tableting, etc., medical devices. So international medical device firms are utilizing our services to handle their data. And in R&D. In R&D, as I was telling you before, just after COVID, coming back from COVID, many companies have started asking us to help them in R&D area. So now coming to, I would say, the juice of the whole, that what we have to talk to you about is the use cases. So in Dr. Reddy's, we started with, and Dr. Reddy is a $2 billion leading pharmaceutical with a goal, very, very simple goal. I really like the goal. Good health can't wait, right? And they had an aim to achieve best quality products adhering to data integrity and compliance. So the basic challenge that they had was they had a large amount of data and there was lack of data integrity. So multiple data coming from multiple sources, each would used to be different and they would not know which is right and which is wrong. Increased data quality and operational costs were coming in the way to as a challenge. So the solution that we put, I have already explained you the challenge and the solution. And ultimately what we ended up doing was that we gave them review by exception process, which drastically reduced their time. Also, we gave them an accurate and real-time visualization of the process parameters and applied golden tunnel system there, real-time data capture and visibility on the shop floor, and reduce quality compliance costs. In this use case, the next use case was when Dr. Reddy's asked us to, get more out of the existing assets. Aim was basically to look at the OE betterment, right? So we talked about how our solution would be able to get more out of existing assets in an organization. As an example, we have put in a compression machine, which used to take 30 to 40 minutes to start a batch, and the rejection of the dough, which used to be there before making the tablet, used to come to around 1.2 kg, used to be wasted. Even quality variations were there when the outputs were there, and they will keep ranging between of course, within an allowed area, but yes, they would move towards the nearing the edge of their quality parameters. Availability of critical systems was always also erratic. What were those critical systems? The FBD, autocoater, tablet compression machines, etc. Their availability was also erratic. So once we applied a single source of truth for all data, giving all users visibility into the process, we applied golden tunnel parameters through eCubic solution and applied FMEA, failure mode and effects analysis, on critically constrained resources. And the result was really very heartening. The compression machine started, the average time taken reduced from 30 to 10 minutes to 15 minutes. So we are able to reduce around from between 20 to 25 minutes per batch, which was fantastic. And rejection of the dough, which started happening, was just 0.5 kg. As the time moves, this will reduce even further as one gets more, conversant and more habitual to the data which is thrown to them. Quality variation area, the benefits were that best quality was becoming more frequent rather than, we remember the best quality, they said that somewhere on X date, they got the best quality and we took the parameters off from there. And this was around 3 to 4 months earlier. Now this best quality happens much more frequently during a given period. And what was the change? The change was just by process fixing. And we were able to increase the availability of critical assets, directly implementing, impacting the plant OE. Moving to the next use case was the use case concerning with process monitoring. And under process improvement, one very valuable use case, which was appreciated by operations team, was that we were able to give them a near instant root cause analysis. So eCubic's platform is able to provide data for any event that is demanded for, right? So deviation in process parameters could not be identified during the batch, leading to batch failure at times, or batch being not that good, right? DRL parameters were stringent. So I'm not saying that good means a bad batch, but yes, with their parameters, it was, according to them, not that good a batch, right? So we designed and developed dashboard for highlighting deviation beyond the threshold limit, and a dashboard was visible on the shop floor clearly to the operators. So operators were able to take corrective action during the process, and verbally they were really very thankful to us when we implemented it. Coming to the next part was implementing condition-based monitoring for increasing asset OE. So the engineering team basically asked us to put this condition-based monitoring, and deviation in equipment operational parameters needed to be identified for analyzing good working condition. This was a challenge. And any variation was to be captured, highlighted in real time. So what we did was we installed IoT sensors over the equipment for monitoring real-time parameters. The data was taken out from machine, which machine, the data which machine used to give, that was used. Also, we installed a few IoT sensors. Sensors like temperature, vibration, variation, DPT and CT coil, etc., were implemented. Dashboard was visible to the concerned persons in the control room or on their personal devices. So benefit was that operator was able to view condition of his equipment on a real-time basis and was able to undertake immediate maintenance of the equipment based on the actual working condition. So we recently received a testimonial also from them, and where, you know, post CBM implementation, this engineering team member told us that that they received some really good outcomes from the process. And what they ended up doing was, from 2 auto motor machines, they received mail alerts much before the motor failure was to happen. They were able to predict. They were able to preempt it, stop it from happening, and as is in these machines. Now, this is just one use case. There will be many such places where this use case would come very handy. So we were also shared the screenshots of the abnormal variation trend in the dashboard, helping the engineering team bring the motors to healthy level post maintenance. I would like to tell you, all these are shared to us by the DRL team, so I can show you. Otherwise, we are not allowed to show anything like that because we are guarded by the Secrecy Act that we sign with the people wherever with our clients. Coming to TQM was a very, very important implementation, total quality management, and you know, very interesting thing was brought out here was that 80% time the operators were saying that the dough quality was not that good and it was variating. But once this TQM was implemented on the machines, we found that 80% issues were related to parameter setting issues and failure of operators to take timely corrective actions rather than the RM. And see, I would not say operators were at fault. It was not humanly possible for them to control things to that level which the system provided them. So batch quality deviations, erraticness was completely brought under control, and DRL started achieving most of the batches as near their golden batch as possible. And one thing which I want to now put forward is that this is the last use case which I want to show of DRL was, we are very proud of this. We were asked to create an IPDO dashboard. So IPDO is an organization which applies the integrated product development facility in their plant. And you know, US FDA organization actually comes to your company, checks it, and then they say that you are an RPDO. It is required to be certified by them, right? The IPD coupled with innovative R&D is supposed to have the ability to cut 500 days from drug development cycle and 25% off from the bottom line. So this is all in the drug development area that we implemented. And what was the benefit was that in end of February 2020, US FDA completed and cleared the audit of the IPDO at Telangana facility of DRL, where we had put this IPDO dashboard. So ultimately, what is this? As you can see, the dashboard puts upper control limits and the lower control limits for CPP parameters. And then we monitor the actual data within this UCL and LCL. Designed and developed dashboard, what it gives is even backdated event frame can be checked. So you can completely keep improving as you create the history of the inside your plant. So ultimately what happens is this, as you can see, a lot of data is out of the area, but very later on, all this data would start coming in between the UCL and LCL. Another use case which we did was I have actually already talked to you about is data visualization. And now, their bad data is now being easily accessible for analysis. This increases the effectivity and efficiency in manufacturing by ready and instantaneous root cause analysis. That is, root cause analysis is one of the most important activity, which is very time consuming in your normal day-to-day life, but here it is nearly instant, saving many valuable man-hours of the QA staff. In Zydus, the last use case which I want to discuss is, here we have started working in all the 18 plants of Zydus, and issue was absence of transparency across different set of metrics, in particularly coming in area of safety, quality, delivery, productivity, health, and cost. Now we know that when you are affecting one area of this 6 parameters, another area gets affected. So balancing in all these 6 areas was very important for them. Absence of connectivity between IT layers. For example, validating quality test status from LIMS was proving to be tough for them. And absence of proactivity in process monitoring and database issue resolution. These were the challenges put forward to us. We provided them the solution. We have quoted them the solution. And now they have asked us to implement this project, and the project is underway. Thank you very much. This is all I had to speak. Sorry for taking so much time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Anup, for sharing lovely insights. If you see the chat box, we have lovely questions coming in from the audience. So I would request the eCubix team to please take care of the questions in the chat box, and please answer their queries. Now, Mr. Anup, you can stop sharing your screen so that I can use the panel. Yeah. No worries. So now moving to an interesting panel, a roundtable discussion, which talks about preparing for the smart factories of the future, which is the path to digital transformation. Here we have interesting set of speakers who will share insights on the digitization, automation, and the online testing, the future of pharmaceutical industry, the quality control. How do we restructure future-ready quality metrics? What are the new business models and the ecosystems that are challenging the current way of businesses today in a pharmaceutical front? US FDA's perceptions for the 21st century pharmaceutical quality. Manufacturing requires effective, acute, and flexible production that faithfully generates high quality drugs. Now to introduce a lovely set of speakers for the day, we have Mr. C.A. Arjun Golar. He's the AGM and Head of Compliance with Ceylon Labs. Mr. Girish Kulkarni, VP Sales and Marketing with Intas Pharmaceuticals. Mr. Harsh Raghav, General Manager Business Strategy and Planning with Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. Ms. Viral P, General Manager Business Operations Group with Lupin. Mr. Anirudh Galgali, Director Strategy and Business Operations International Markets with Cipla. Mr. Vasu P. NSS, DGM Corporate Strategy and Business Excellence with Corona Remedies Private Limited. Dr. Manoj Tukade is the Associate Director Quality with Empure Pharmaceuticals. And of course, we have Anup Garg and Mr. Ankit on board, who will be there with us throughout. So now I'm opening up the panel and the roundtable. So first, I would like to invite the thoughts from Arjun. Arjun, to you. Over to you, Arjun. Thank you for joining.
Thanks a lot, Ekta, for this wonderful introduction. And thank you to Anup sir as well for taking us through the detailed use case studies, as well as sharing those wonderful examples. Now, before getting into more specifics, I'd like to just share my screen, and for the benefit of our audience, I would like to talk a little bit about the industry 4.0 that we are talking here. So you can just confirm me if the presentation is visible.
Yes, we can see, Arjun.
So So this is all is what we are talking here, the industry 4.0. And to talk more about it, before that, I'd like to just mention one point that I am the head of compliance at Ceylon Labs, and my background being more into internal audit and compliance. So, and in my career, initially I've spent almost 7 years with Dr. Reddy's. So that was the experience I got. And taking into all that, my view on this entire discussion comes from an audit angle, from a compliance angle, the way an auditor looks at it, the way US FDA looks at a pharma manufacturing company. So when we talk about Industry 4.0, it all started in the 18th century, and it was all about using the mechanization by using water and steam to increase the production, which later on we moved to the Industry 2.0, which was all about labor-based mass production assembly lines, moving on to an automation. Now, this automation was more about standalone automation, wherein a machine or a standalone robotic system is in place. And that's where today, when we talk about the 4.0, it's all about integrating everything. It's all about creating systems wherein machines can interact with each other and creating an Internet of Things and giving a holistic approach to it. And as you also see this slide, every other industry 1.0 and 2.0, all these stages have built on each other. So logically, the Industry 4.0 has to be an integration of the 3.0, that we have standalone robotics, standalone machineries, and standalone equipments. So bringing people, bringing systems, data, everything on a parallel system where they can interact with each other. And that's where the Industry 4.0 is governed by these trends, which is automation, big data, cloud computing, autonomous, Internet of Things, and data management. My views on this is also about today the way audit happens in an automated manner. So gone are the days where we take a sample and do an audit. Today, audit happens in a much more enhanced way where you have automated controls, and that's where a real-time monitoring is possible, so that the auditor does not come and pick some samples and do an audit. They just do a design level configuration check, and that's how they come up with a view that, yeah, the system is working fine. So these trends are definitely going to impact the entire ecosystem of Industry 4.0, what we are talking. And with that, I'd like to just conclude by saying that we are all up for a very big challenge, and to succeed in the marketplace, these automated systems, integrated systems are really, really very important. And I completely resonate with the case studies which Mr. Anup shared. So because I was part of Dr. Reddy's at that time, and those were really very, very interesting to automate and integrate the systems and come up with innovative solutions. So thank you all. And with that, over to you, Ekta.
Thank you so much, Arjun, for sharing insights. Requesting you to please stop the screen so that I can put all the speakers on the spotlight. Now, moving forward, I would similarly like to invite the thoughts of Mr. Girish Kulkarni from Intas Pharmaceuticals, from his marketing perspective, being the sales VP Sales and Marketing. So, over to you, Mr. Girish.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been really interesting topic to discuss about. What I would like to look at this subject little more broadly. If we look at India per se, the Indian pharmaceutical industry, it is third largest by volume. And we are looking at India to become a global pharmacy of the world. Now, a couple of challenges we consistently face for achieving this objective is providing the consistent quality product, whether it is in the Indian domestic market, whether it is where we are supplying to the regulated markets like USA, or we are supplying it to any other country. Now, a couple of issues like yesterday's case where product cough syrup which has been supplied, and we have seen that 66 children have died in Gambia. Now, this doesn't do well for the reputation of nation per se. Or despite of being we in the COVID phase being the largest manufacturers of vaccine, we had the highest trouble of getting our vaccines approved through the WHO window. So now, what challenge is there for pharmaceutical industries that we have large number of manufacturers with the varying infrastructure for manufacturing the pharmaceutical products. However, the kind of quality every manufacturer delivers, it has been entirely different. Even within the domestic market, if we look at, we are now looking at multiple segments. We see the products which have been patented products. We see the large amount of genericization, and then we also see large amount of private labels coming up in the organized pharmacy. Plus, we have a large amount of contract manufacturing. Now, these are the different segments. They are offering the same patient. The consumer is same, patient is same, but a patient buying from one channel is consuming a different quality of medicine as compared to he is buying from other channel. Now, a patient deserves quality, and a patient deserves same kind of probably the drug where his life depends. It is his well-being which depends on that. And for that, probably what we are discussing, I could go through the presentation and I saw that concept of the golden batch each time. Now, that golden batch concept, if it has been applied to the whole industry, can every single drug which has been produced in this country has a golden batch? I have seen practically throughout my last 25 years, I have seen the instances where after the batch going in the market, there are complaints, then batches have been recalled. The batches have failed after they have been delivered at the warehouses, and at observation they have failed. There have been instances where the products have been short for months together, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, just because we are yet not conforming to the quality standards. Then there are, I will quote another example. Then there are preparations. We are a price sensitive country. So I take an example of levothyroxine. Levothyroxine is a very, very tough molecule to manufacture. And if you look at, if you manufacture and give that tablet to 70% per patient, probably the quality standards differ. Even batch to batch, they differ because of the sensitivity. Now, how do we get these molecules? Because same patient is not sure of what exactly he will be consuming the next batch comes into the market. Now, what I am talking, I am not an expert into the technical matters, but it is purely what finally gets into the market, what we face the moment. There have been instances where despite of the product being consistently there for decades, there are batches where tablets will break down. There are batches where they will still not conform to the quality standards. So we still have this big challenge of producing the consistent quality every time. And I probably believe that proper standardized process which has been required, and this standardization probably will take our effort of making India a global pharmacy well ahead. So these are my thoughts on the topic.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to invite thoughts of Mr. Harsh Raghav, as mentioned, GM, Business Strategy and Planning with Glenmark Pharmaceuticals. So over to you, Mr. Harsh, your thoughts on the subject.
Thanks, Ekta. Thank you so much, and a very good evening to all. So, of course, I was listening very intently to obviously Arjun and then Girish, and of course, I concur with their thoughts for sure. And of course, I would like to provide few thoughts from my side as well on this topic, widely discussed topic these days for sure, isn't it? So maybe just before I start, a couple of lines about myself on my background. So over the course of my career, I have been fortunate to be a part of maybe the entire pharma value chain. From a research and development perspective, I was with Novartis, and I was leading a few of their blockbuster molecules programs, the global program teams I was part of. Then from the manufacturing perspective, I was with Pfizer in their manufacturing facility. And then I will say from the commercialization perspective, so that's the present role which I'm having with Glenmark, and in which I am kind of heading the commercial strategy of Glenmark. So that's the brief background about myself, and then obviously, onto the topic. I think, how I would like to start is that if you talk about Industry 4.0, or maybe say the digital innovation, this kind has really say accelerated by around 10 years in the past 18 months. So that's how I basically like to see this, see the subject matter over here. And how I would like to shed light over this topic is that I would like to talk about I will say, each parameter of the pharma value chain. And I would like to throw some light that what are the different, I will say, the innovations, or how this Industry 4.0 is impacting each and every element of the pharma value chain. And then I will particularly provide some emphasis on drug development and commercialization, this being my background per se. But yeah, of course, when we talk about, say, the first element of the pharma value chain, which we talk about, say, research. So obviously we all know that there are various AI driven drug discovery is basically, has become rampant. Companies like Novartis, Johnson Johnson, so these innovator companies are using various AI and machine learning, I will say, applications for their drug discovery to basically, reduce the cost or basically fasten the timeline. But I will say that yet, I will say, the impactful systems or algorithms, it's very difficult to actually come up with, I will say, an accelerated scenario in drug discovery. But of course, the industry is trying to find out that one, I will say, the impactful AI driven or machine learning driven system, which will accelerate the research process for finding a new drug. But if you talk about, say, the next, I will say, the stage of the pharma value chain, which is the drug development. So here I would say the industry has made various, I will say, a lot of progress in terms of in encapsulating your artificial intelligence and machine learning, IoT. So, all the Industry 4.4 elements into itself. When you talk about, I can talk about, say, in the previous company, and this is a public information, so which obviously I can allude to. So for example, Novartis had a data 42 program in it, and this data 42 encompass the major clinical trials pooled together. And we used to employ machine learning, artificial intelligence algorithms to come up with some new insights into the into the drug development process. So that is something about not only Novartis but many other, I will say, drug discovery or drug development companies are alluding to. And then if we talk about in terms of see the drug development process, or in terms of clinical trial, clinical research process. So we actually work with many companies, or there are many companies right now which are trying to come up with an algorithm. And again, it is alluding to Industry 4.0, is that in which it is trying to find out which physician or which HCP is more likely to provide one of his or her patients to a particular clinical trial of a particular molecule. So there are many companies, and I'm taking real real life use cases or real world examples, which I'll say many companies in pharmaceutical industry, particularly I will say the small tech in the pharmaceutical industries, are currently doing. But again, with respect to drug development and using machine learning and artificial intelligence, so there are I'll say big institutions like, say, Oxford BDI, Verily, the Alphabet company, the company from Alphabet. So they are trying to do machine learning of MRI images. They are trying to basically you're trying to machine learn. They're employing deep learning for reading of biopsies and trying to make some contribution in the field of kidney transplant. So I also didn't want to make this entire discussion very theoretical. So these are the real world examples I can allude to in terms of when we are actually talking about the drug development process. And then now if we shift to, say, the manufacturing, the next step in the pharmaceutical value chain. So we we all know that, so there are various, I will say, initiatives on, artificial learning and machine learning. So we are basically, getting employed by the manufacturing, companies, pharmaceutical companies, to reduce the cost. And I think this group over here is well aware of such type of, AI and machine learning practices. So I would not like to take much time on the manufacturing, practice per se. And then obviously, if we go to the next part, which is the supply chain perspective. So from the supply chain perspective, we all remember that how from a supply chain perspective we have faced issues starting this year, in which all our freight costs increase a lot because of various macroeconomical, I will say, so the factors which we encountered. So all our freight costs increase, and many of us had to increase our air to ocean freight ratio. And then obviously many of us also employed various machine learning and artificial intelligence, I will say, parameters to understand the availability of the fleet, to take track in the real terms where our goods have reached, and so on. So obviously there is a lot of things to talk about in terms of supply chain as well. But then I would also like to focus a bit more on the commercial aspect. So where artificial intelligence and machine learning is employed in the commercial space, and there are various examples. Again, if you talk about so how basically a sales rep interacts with an HCP. So right now, most of the pharmaceutical company, not only in India, but across the globe, most of us are more into still in the face-to-face interaction mode. But now we are actually planning to go from face-to-face to multi-channel approach. Again, employing, in which again the reps will have a uniform message for all the HCPs. But yes, of course, we'll reach through various multi-channels, to the HCPs. And then the next stage comes, in which it is called as orchestrated approach, in which none of the companies in this world are at that stage of, I will say, engagement, in which reps will go with segmentation, a segmented approach, and for each segmented HCP, it will have different messages to give. And then comes with something, I will say, everybody knows about it, the omni-channel, isn't it? So omni-channel, again, I can confidently say that almost none of the companies are in that omni-channel approach, in which we create a pull from the HCPs instead of the push. So again, so with this industry 4.0 and this, I will say, the fourth industrial revolution, so again we have to move towards the direction from face to face to multi-channel to orchestrated, and then ultimately to omni-channel. And then again, obviously, there are various CRM systems in place, in which it will be much more easier for the rep and HCPs to understand the entire ecosystem over here. So I don't want to make it too lengthy of a monologue from my side. Would like to stop. Yeah, thank you so much. So Ekta, back to you.
Thank you, Sarj, for sharing lovely insights. Of course, the chat box is engaging, and requesting the audience to please put your question continuously there. And we have speakers and the eCubics team who will be taking care. Moving forward to another speaker. Sorry?
One very small thing, Mr. Harsh.
Sure.
A very good insight which you just now gave about reps being deployed on not on a one-to-one basis, but I don't know, the way I have watched it, I find it pretty tough. Would doctors accept it?
No, you are very right, Anup.
Yeah.
So we are not talking over here that we will completely shift from face to face to multi-channel. Face to face is never going to go away. So face to face is going to remain. But so there are various strategies which we pharmaceutical companies are employing. So obviously we have a certain number of field force, right? And there is obviously a large uncovered market which we cannot cater to because of the limitation of our field force size. To cover that uncovered market, and to cover that tail, so obviously the multi-channel approach or this orchestrated approach is something which we can allude to. But yet again, face-to-face is here to stay. Okay, and there are various examples and scenarios that, so when a rep has already established a so-called relationship with an HCP,
Exactly.
yeah, it is much easier to have a multi-channel approach or a Zoom call with that HCP instead of a first time when one is approaching the HCP. So there are various factors over here, Anup, which are here to stay and which we are going to evolve.
I think Mr. Girishi also wants to say. Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, this is a little dear topic to us, being the forefront of sales and marketing. So let me share a small insight. There have been attempts in last couple of decades. Like Mr. Hurst said, it can very well, we are trying to make it an adjunct to the physical interaction, and we have attempted in multiple ways how we can work it out. In fact, during the last 2 years of COVID pandemic, where meeting an SCP was the largest challenge, we realized that despite of all the possible efforts, the adherence and the success of video calling to a doctor was not even 0.1%. So there was absolutely no acceptance at SCP level of uh, video call or Zoom call concept at this point of time. That is an practical insight. Probably in future, if that can shift. In fact, the knowledge sharing platforms which have actually came up like a crop during this 2 years on virtual basis, even peer-to-peer learning, the acceptance and adherence was very, very lower as compared to the peer-to-peer learning in the physical platform. So I personally believe, based on the experience of especially the last 2 years, that still 99.9% it is the physician and SCP's interaction that plays important role, and that is primarily because there is an emotional bonding, and that bonding cannot be established on the digital mode. So that's been the practical experience we have in last 2 years.
Sure. Thank you so much. Now, next, I would like to invite Mr. Anirudh from Cipla to share his insights.
Viral ji had to say something.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
addition to what Girish ji said, I actually resonate his thoughts, because see, our industry has moved in such a way where our sales representative is a basic business generator, and his relation with HCP plays a very, very pivotal role in generating that business. We cannot completely do away with that. During the pandemic, each and every company has experimented with this omni-channel marketing, multi-channel marketing. But the significance of the face-to-face interaction with HCP is very, very critical. Now, when we talk about generating profit through process efficiencies, these processes has to revolve around that. How do we aid that our sales representative is more equipped, more stronger when he's going, he has more of the support from our side. So when we talk about optimizing or improvising our processes, the entire strategy has to revolve around that. How do we make him more equipped?
I completely, sorry if I can jump in. So if I can completely agree with both Girish ji and Viral ji. So obviously this is how it is going to be. And I think the way many of the pharmaceutical companies are thinking these days is that obviously the relationship which we all alluded to. So that is the primary, point over here. So obviously the face-to-face interaction is something which is a must. And many pharmaceutical companies are also coming up with a new parameter or a new KPI called as MCE, multi-channel equivalent. So MCE, for say, just an FYI. So when many of the companies are evaluating this digital KPIs, so the MCE of a I'll say a Zoom call is just 33% of a face-to-face interaction. So what many, I will say, the companies are actually, I will say, prescribing over here is that maybe the second or third time when a rep goes to meet the same HCP in a particular month, so maybe that third, I will say, the interaction can be replaced by a Zoom call or something. But then these things, I'll say, that are evolving, and it is going to continue evolving, I think, in the next few years or so. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I would quickly like to invite Mr. Anirudh to share his insight. And
yes,
yeah.
Thanks, Ekta. I could not agree, could not agree even more to what Viral and Harsh and the group was trying to say here. My limited point on the commercial models which are emerging is that all of us are looking at India as a market, but the role of tech and the role of physical versus digital or the digital also depends on the healthcare and the payer model in which you want to operate. So the BU which I am part of, we are present in about 50 countries, right? And we see a lot of variation in adoption post-COVID. The discussion here was whether do we still need, what is the relevance of a rep? And we have seen that there are many countries in which this adoption is much higher. Now, if you take away the geography slice and you put a therapy slice, right? So there are many segments in which the relevance of a rep, the relative relevance of a rep varies. For example, there are a lot of niche companies which partnered with a lot of e-commerce giants in the recent 18 to 24 months. And a lot of new commercial models have emerged. So looping back to the theme, right? So profit definitely is an important lens for every organization today, and more so ever than it was in the past. So what has happened is post-COVID, a lot of governments have got their lens on healthcare as a sector even deeper, right? So access to public and therefore a cost-efficient medicine has been a theme to which runs across governments of any scale and magnitude. What that means in turn is that it pushes back the manufacturers and the larger healthcare providers to focus on improving their processes. So one way is your pure sales and general expenses when we talk about the reps and the tech that we use to promote, but it also integrates back to the last hour of discussion we had on efficient manufacturing processes. And more so, I want to touch about efficient supply chains here, right? Because having agility in supply chain systems, if you want to cater to all of these countries at a cost which was lower than yesterday, when your procurement cost is going up, and after compounding the forex. So, anyways, let me not pivot towards the profit side of things, but it is even more important than it was yesterday. So, a lot of new commercial models have evolved beyond just adopting this technology on the manufacturing side, and this is we have witnessed a lot of new age partnering. So historically, you would think of any classical a pharma to pharma deal where you in-license, out-license product, or you partner in a specific region for a specific therapy. But these days, you see a lot of partnering with pharma companies, with tech companies, to co-promote a product, right? At least in some of these geographies which have a slightly more evolved healthcare model as compared to India and APAC. The second part is the whole evolution of e-clinical space, right? So we spoke about manufacturing, we spoke about some of these regulatory spaces, but historically a huge chunk of the cost also comes from the trials that the companies invest in, and e-clinical trials and the adoption of those amongst the big pharma. I have seen a huge uptick in that. And with this is also an advent of e-commerce. So Harsh spoke about multi-channel and omni-channel marketing, but purely from a cost of sale perspective, in markets like India as well, right? This is one of the fastest growing spaces, purely from where it was, say, 4-5 years back. But in many other markets, we see that these are already more stable spaces from a growth perspective. And a lot of efficiencies are being driven in to predict the buying behavior, to predict the purchase behavior of not just individuals, but also entities, right? So you have key accounts, you have hospitals, nursing homes. Some of these governments also use the government representative organizations also use this to predict demand. So I think a lot has been said about efficiencies on the shop floor. I just wanted to bring in the perspective that with profit as a lens, a lot of things are evolving on the commercial front end, as well as on the other spaces, just the new models of engagement that are coming in. And I think I would give it back to Ekta to invite more views from Viral and others, but it's a phenomenally engaging discussions. And offhand, I would like to also understand from eCubix how I mean, I think there's a wonderful presentation by Anu, which threw light on efficiencies on the shop floor. But if you also have some solutions to drive efficiencies on commercial models, or if you have some use cases, that would be very, very interesting, because implementing in factory is a more intense effort, but we can easily pilot some of these commercial models in some countries and then scale it up. So that's my parting thoughts. And thanks for this opportunity to share my views.
Yeah, I'll surely get back to you, sir, on that.
Sure. Yeah, definitely, Anirudh. I would
Very
be connecting you with Mr. Anup on this. And thank you for sharing lovely insights. Now, I would like to invite thoughts of Dr. Manoj Rukade, who's the Associate Director, Quality with MQR. So your thoughts, Dr. Manoj, on the same.
Hi, good evening. This is Manoj. I think a lot of experts has given different views, and being a quality and compliance person, it's really good to know that all commercial aspects of Industry 4.03. But being a quality person, as I said, I will need to be a little emphasize on the quality compliance perspective of Industry 4.0. The 4.0 is nothing but the connected applications, advanced analytics, and the artificial intelligence. It's a combination of all these which enhance the productivity. But I will look into the different view of productivities. Along with productivity, it enhances the compliance level also, because if you enhance the productivity only, maybe compliance will be overlooked. But when we have this type of tool, this will have a combination of both productivity and compliance. To achieve this compliance level, to help the productivity enhancement, the most important thing is the digital maturity. I think digital maturity is nothing but, I will just take some few examples of it. We are using a different modules of electronics and artificial intelligence in different fields. Like in quality control, we use LIMS. In manufacturing, we use manufacturing execution systems. We have a supply chain management. We do have a resource management, but that goes in individual parts. If you connect all this together in one place, and then data analytics works along with all these requirements, all these things, I believe we will be able to achieve more productivity along with the compliance level, because compliance is going to be the most important part along with the productivity, and it should go hand to hand, because only compliance cannot go too long. Only productivity also cannot go too long. If it is hand to hand, I believe it is going to be too long, and we will be able to satisfy the regulatories. We will be able to satisfy the business. We will be able to satisfy the customer, because whatever things that is coming up, I just taken the thing is that, like, one manufacturing process has a different stages. Every stage has creating some database. If that remains along with only with the manufacturing, I think that may not help. But if you look into the 4 different part of total in a totality, it's manufacturing. There is one private clouds wherein our all quality control data, our resource data comes in. If you go with the public cloud, we will definitely know the information which is available to the outsiders or the customers. And there is an external data which likes the inventories management, market demands, and all these things. These individual modules, if comes together, which definitely the Industry 4.0's motto is here. If combined together, the outcome which I can see is more benefit to all the level, commercial level, compliance level, and the human being level also, because it enhances the business, it enhances the compliance, and is enhance the safety towards the patients, which is actually the pharmaceutical motto. So I would say Industry 4.0 is the tool which can be help us to enhance the productivity and compliance altogether. I would just stop with these small things, and if anything comes up as a questions to me, we will take it up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Manoj, for sharing insights. Now, like to invite thoughts from Viral, from Lupin. Viral, your thoughts on the same. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Ekta. First of all, I would like to thank you. It's a great pleasure to be part of this panel and to be part of this enriching discussion. As we talk about Industry 4.0, Now, the first thing which I would like to highlight about the current era is very different from what it was prior. Earlier, it was problem of data availability. Now the challenges of data overload. We have so much data available with us. Now, the kind of problem that we have is that how do we make sense out of that data? We have data available into multiple systems. So need of an hour, according to me, is to have a integrated systems where we make sense out of that data. As Dr. Manoj also pointed out, that we need to have an integrated system across the value chain, across the functions of the pharma company. Currently, with the sales and marketing, we have data of primary sales, secondary sales. What are the inventory levels available at the stockist front, at the retailer front? But then how do we integrate that data with also the manufacturing facility? Are we manufacturing as per the availability or the necessity in the market? Are we also, because each and every company, I believe, apart from like top 10 companies, will be having nearly 1,000 SKUs, multiple variants of each product. Now, are we manufacturing these 1,000 SKUs based on what are the inventory level? What is the demand in the market? What are the secondaries? And if that this data is not weaved in onto one platform, each company will incur a huge cost, which comes as a credit note. On the P&L, it might look a very minuscule number of say 1% or 2%. But when we translate that number into the absolute value, it's a huge thing. During this pandemic, many companies had manufactured multiple drugs, which was based on the disease pattern which was emerging at that time, which would not remain static throughout the year or even post-pandemic. So many of the companies has incurred a lot of write-off data. When we go through the annual report of multiple companies, the listed companies, they had this component of write-off which was much higher compared to the prior pandemic thing. This was all because it was manufactured based on the current set of the therapeutic need which is there into system. So weaving into all these systems which are available, applying the AI and ML and predictive analytics onto that will definitely contribute to improving the profit of companies. So these are few thoughts from my end.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Viral. Now I would like to invite Mr. Vasu PNSS from Corona Remedies to share your thoughts. Yes, Anu,
yes.
please.
One very see the whole. I took a long time when I was presenting the use cases, right? Because I was very well aware of the new thing, and not that most of us are aware that data is now suddenly available like too much, right? Even the way we are looking at WhatsApp, right? Or let's say YouTube. So on one perspective that Mr. Modi said this, you have 25 people speaking on the same subject with different knowledge base. You don't even know the knowledge base. And then you are sitting with your head like this, that what do I consider as the right one, right? And at times we make very ignorant mistakes, which can be very costly at times, right? So this is happening nowadays. So my use case, which I was trying to put forward was this only, that what over the years Ecubix has done is we have become wonderfully good in presenting data usefully to you, because that is how we were to survive. See, many big organizations had this capability. We were smallies. I was rubbing shoulder with what? Accenture most of the time. Accenture has billions of dollars, and here I am touching $5 million, $10 million guy, right? How do I do with him? And I went to my team and said, "Bhai, I cannot sell you the product, but I can sell the benefits. Product to wo mujhse bhi acha bech raha hai. TCS aaya tha, and I have to, to take a back seat because TCS is speaking. Okay. So then we went into this, and you would believe IBM is now approaching us to put our resources with them to put forward, while in our case, we have decided not to do that. We are saying, let them take their pain and let us move on our area of expertise. So, Ms. Viral, we are aware that you people already have this data collection, beautiful system with you, but we can be there and give you some fantastic outputs from that data. We have done that for ONGC. We have done that for Hindustan Zinc Limited. We are now going to do that for Shell Energy. Very big companies are coming to Tata Power has looked at us for 5 use cases already on just data visualization. So that is one part we want to enter into that. Thank you so much. It was very Selu talk. I'm sorry. I being from marketing, maybe I get into that line very often because I have come up from sales only. But to be very true, that is what we want to now push ourselves towards. Not just creating data.
Actually a way forward. Creating a user story is actually the way forward.
Yeah, so that we are
Okay.
doing now. Thank you.
So now, Mr. Vasu, over to you, please.
Thank you, Ekta. Just I would like to share my views on Industry 4.0, particularly with respect to marketing. As a couple of panel members, which they have shared their views on particularly on HCP engagement or omni-channel engagement or a multi-channel engagement or something. See, when we are evolving to the new marketing era of utilizing the digitization. So the thing is, the quality makes the difference, and the level of quality which we implement in the HCP engagement, that is going to be the clear winner in engagement perspective. Because when from the organization like a Corona and this point of view, when we look at this omni-channel engagement, it's not just beginning of the pandemic or something. It is a much before the pandemic. So during that time, when we look at the response was quite encouraging, because at any of the digital program, whatever we have done that time, the engagement was much higher, and it was like we feel that we have delayed in doing this kind of engagement activity. But during the COVID, the charm has gone. The thing is, it is a flood of activities, flood of programs. It's a kind of monotonous thing which is continuously happening. But whereas even today, when we are thinking of this digital engagement, and we are continuously doing that, by doing that, how we are able to achieve the better engagement. When I look at, the thing is the quality which is making the difference. That is the speaker which is delivering the lecture, which makes the difference, and the topic which you are deciding for the engagement, which makes the difference. Then how the rep is engaging the customer, HCP basically, because the rep has to understand what is the topic the program is going to organize as a company, and what is the subject expert is going to talk on that, and how it is going to be useful for the HCP, and who are the HCPs interested in that particular topic. If I lay any particular specialty, when I look at, if the relevant topic is not interesting to the customer, it's not that I have started the program, I have started engaging the customer with the topic, and you expect the customer to take part with that program, and definitely the result won't be there. So you need to be very clear with the subject expert whom you are going to engage for the digital engagement, and similarly, what is the topic that you are going to do. And because if I say gynae as a perspective, the recent time, the PPH is going to be the most debatable topic, and all of a sudden there is a multiple controversies happened, multiple issues happened with the HCP. All of a sudden, entire gynae fraternity, they would like to learn more about PPH, because they want to get safeguard with the PPH issue. So you need to identify the right issue, what HCP want to learn, and if you identify those topics and then connect the HCPs properly, then definitely the results will be much better. This is with regards to the HCP engagement. And apart from that, the rep also should be evolved with the new era of digital engagement perspective, or otherwise, from the company perspective, right from the marketing team, the heads of the market team in the company, they will be very well aware of the digital engagement processes. But at the MR level, sending a one small text message itself is a big challenge, rightfully. So we need to empower each and every individual whom you want to engage and connect in this HCP engagement model, and everybody should be up to that mark. Otherwise, what will happen? You will not expect the result, or you will feel that the digitization is not be a rightful thing in the Indian market. Thank you. Thank you, Ekta.
Mr.
Yeah, thank you so
Girish
much.
wanted to. Yeah, Mr. Girish, I think wanted to say something.
Wait, I think he's not on the spotlight. I'll just add him. Yes, Mr. Girish, please, we
Yes.
can have the final thoughts, Anup, yeah, coming in.
Yeah.
Yes, please. So you're on mute.
Girish, आप mute पे हैं.
Girish, sir, you're on mute. Yeah.
Now it is audible?
Yeah.
Okay. I just joined from my mobile because I had some issue with my laptop in the middle. Okay. Anyway, what I was listening to the overall discussion, I could segregate the whole discussion into two aspects. One aspect relates to what happens at the marketplace, where the interaction is between the revs, interaction is between the SCPs, and other discussion is about how do we improve our manufacturing and quality processes. Now, both these things, according to me, are entirely different. On the first side, it is more of a technological advancement. It is a technical advancement where the technology improves your productivity and makes your delivery of the product better. On the second side, it is the technology behavioral science. Now, technology behavioral science, when we are talking about the products in the both the parallelences, one is the purely technical product. On the other side, when you talk about technology behavioral science, it is based on the entirely different behavioral fundamentals, and the theories governing these fundamentals are entirely different. So the adoptions, when we talk about technology adoption at marketplace between two individuals, it will be more from the behavioral science perspective. So you cannot take entirely into the way we take technical advancement into the manufacturing processes, because adoption for a human being would be entirely different. You talk, then the different theories will come into picture. We talk about technology acceptance model by Fred Davis. We talk about theory of reason action. We talk about social bias theory. So there are multiple fundamental theories which probably I don't want to bring in at this forum, because we are more talking from the process perspective. But that behavioral science will determine the success of the product, which is aimed at integrating technology with the behavior of human beings. So what my frank submission is that the theme of today's meeting is how do we improve the total quality management. And to improve the total quality management, today this technology has a most important role to play, and that role probably is very vital when it comes to delivering the good quality products, good pharmaceutical products, not just to India but to the overseas markets. So that's my concluding remark. For the products where the human behavior is involved, probably we have to have a different take rather than taking both the things in the same way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So any final thoughts? It was wonderful having insights coming in from all the speakers and the EQBix team, and lovely audience. Thank you so much for making the chat box so interesting with the questions. We will definitely share the entire video session with you and connect you with EQBix team to understand their strategic business solutions they have for the pharmaceutical industry. So on this closing note, Mr. Anup, I would like to know from any one of you if there is a closing note coming in, and we can end the session.
So many thanks. Actually, we have been doing these activities since thanks to COVID. This started off, as Vasu was telling, but we realized the value of such interactions and value of learning, because when you are implementing things, if I'm sitting with Mr. Harsh and implementing solution for Mr. Harsh, our talk will be hardly in this area of discussion as we have just now done. Yeah. So there's so much to learn when you talk on a different level than just client to a company level. So sometimes we, even after doing the whole event, with them for 1 year, we sit back and think the learnings. Even one page doesn't get filled up at times, and we feel that we lost an opportunity to learn. Actually, we gave what we had, and that's it. The door is shut. Thank you. The check is given, and you are out. And that's where it used to hit us on the face that, man, that was an opportunity to learn and you wasted it. right? So we have tried our best to now cache this thing. And one of these events, the reason for doing these events is this. So many thanks for all of you to take out time. I would like to know a little bit more. If Mr. Viral, would you like to give some ending thoughts? Dr. Manoj and Mr. Harsh.
Yeah, it was really nice to be part. As Girish said, these are two separate terms which has to be segregated into two different buckets. We are talking about one is technology and other is human behavior. So human behavior also, if it can be linked with the KPIs or with the digital model, although there are multiple solutions which are available in the market, which actually influences human behavior and integrate that into the overall system. So that is something which everyone is looking forward. Currently, that solution which is available is very expensive, not that feasible for the companies to implement. But I'm sure in times to come there will be amalgamation of both this technology and psychology to drive very meaningful insights out of it.
Thank you.
Yes,
Maybe
sir.
I'd like to go next. So again, it was, I think, a really great learning opportunity, maybe personally for me, from all the panelists over here. And, one thing I think is very much clear to me that, in terms of, say, manufacturing, quality control, HCP interaction, I think most, or I think all of the pharmaceutical companies and this industry, pharmaceutical industry right now is doing digital. But I think the real revolution would be that how can we shift from doing digital to being digital? And I think that's where I think we all need to go as an industry together. But again, great interaction. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Great catch point. This.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, team, for giving a lot of insights, and very much thanks, Girish and Harsh, because they're giving totally different insights from marketing point of view. I'm very thankful to Girish specifically, because being a marketing and sales, he's talking about the quality requirement. Very happy to see that. Thank you. Harsh, thank you so much for giving perfect outline for this program. And Anupji, whatever things you have been given with the example, I think it's really going to help everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So on this closing note, I would like to thank all the speakers once again for taking out your time and sharing lovely insights and making this such an interactive discussion. Thank you, Mr. Anup, for sharing wonderful insights about your solution and not leaving behind our audience. Again, thank you for making it interactive. Our team will be sharing the entire video session with the speakers and the audience. And we shall be again reconnecting you for one-on-one brainstorm session with our eCubix team for Mr. Arun for the solutions, requesting your convenient date and time. So we'll be happy to connect again with you, and we'll share the thank you mail with the entire video. So thank you so much. Have a lovely evening ahead and take care of yourself, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.